So far we have discussed about the factors required for the photosynthesis, just the two factors which are necessary for photosynthesis we required, and what is the relation between them we discussed. Okay? So what are those? First, water and photosynthesis, and next, what is the relation between air and photosynthesis? What is the relation between air and photosynthesis in the Priestley's experiment? So by the end of Priestley's experiment, we came to our understanding that all the plants are providing a gas which is necessary for the breathing of animals, and they are taking a gas which is released from the animals, right? So what is the gas that is released from the animals? We, as usually, we take oxygen and we release carbon dioxide. That means the plants may require carbon dioxide for their process of photosynthesis, so that they are using carbon dioxide for their photosynthesis or not. Is the carbon dioxide necessary for photosynthesis or not? Let us see in this activity. Okay, so for this, so what is the activity we are going to perform, and why we are going to perform this activity? To prove that the carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, so we came to an understanding that there is a relation between air and photosynthesis. So from air, which part of the air is necessary for photosynthesis? Which part of the air is required for photosynthesis? Yes, that we have to confirm now, right? Let us perform this activity. So what is the aim of the activity now? Is to prove carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Next, what are the materials required? We need a potted plant with long narrow leaves and potassium hydroxide solution or potassium hydroxide pellets, a glass bottle, cork, a split cork, grease, iodine solution. Okay, next, procedure. So what is the procedure we have to follow? First, let us take a potted plant. Let us take a potted plant and let's place it in a dark room for weekdays, for 1 week. That means to de-starch the plant. That means to remove the complete starch from the plant. So then if you place it in a dark room, why the starch will be removed? Yes, if you place it in dark room, there is no sunlight. There is no sunlight. That is why the photosynthesis process will not be carried out inside that plant. So the starch already present inside the plant will be consumed by the plant. So that is why the plant will become de-starched. Okay, then take that plant. And let us take a bottle. Yes, potted plant, it is de-starched, and let us take a glass bottle, a transparent bottle. Yes, and in this let us take 5 to 6 ml of potassium hydroxide solution or some little amount of potassium hydroxide pellets. Okay, then fit it with a split cork. Then take the potted plant, and take the leaf from the potted plant. The leaf should not be detached from the potted plant. Insert a leaf into the glass bottle through the split cork. And in the bottle, what is present? Potassium hydroxide is present. Yes, so why we are taking the potassium hydroxide there? Yes, to absorb the carbon dioxide. Present inside the bottle, right? Yes, so here we inserted a leaf into the glass bottle through the split cork. Yes, then here we should take care that the air should not enter into the bottle. Yes, so our experiment is to know whether the carbon dioxide is required or not. Yes, if the atmospheric carbon dioxide enters into the bottle, there is no use of this experiment. So that is why we should apply grease where the bottle mouth is closed with the split cork. Hence we can prevent complete entry of air into the bottle, right? Entire experimental setup is done now. Then place it in a sunlight for 3 to 4 hours. Okay, then after that detach the leaf from the plant and place it in a petri dish. Then apply some iodine solution on that. Yes, then we can observe what is going to happen. The part of the leaf which is present inside the bottle has not turned into bluish black. Yes, and the part of the leaf which is present outside the bottle is turned into bluish black. That means the part of the leaf which is present inside the bottle, there is no photosynthesis taken place. Yes, the part of the leaf which is exposed to atmosphere, photosynthesis has been taken place. The part of the leaf which is present inside the bottle, there the photosynthesis has not been taken place because there is no carbon dioxide. And which is absorbed completely by the potassium hydroxide solution we placed inside that. Yes, and the part of the leaf which is present outside the bottle, yes, that is exposed to atmospheric carbon dioxide. So there the photosynthesis takes place. So what we can conclude here? carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Then what are the precautions? What are the precautions we have to take in this activity? In this activity, first we should take a plant with long and narrow leaves. Bottle and cork should be completely covered with grease to prevent the entry of atmospheric air into the bottle. Yes, and next the plant should not touch the potassium hydroxide solution inside the bottle. These three are the precautions we have to take while performing this activity. So with this, we have confirmed that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, this experiment is also called as Mole's half-leaf experiment. The next factor, sunlight and photosynthesis. What is the relation between sunlight and photosynthesis? So what is sunlight? It is a form of energy. Yes, in the time of Priestley's experiment, there was no concept of energy. So that is where Priestley didn't think about energy. Yes, so then there is a statement given in the textbook. Yes, let us see that statement. If energy is released when carbon dioxide and water formed by combining oxygen with carbon and hydrogen, then what about the reverse? Just let us decode this statement. When carbon dioxide is combining with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide plus energy. And when oxygen is combined with hydrogen and it forms water, and energy. Yes, when this combination and this reaction takes place, this takes place in our body. Yes, so we are eating food. Food is nothing but a carbon material, carbohydrates. Those are carbohydrates and glucose in that carbon is present. It's a carbon material. Yes, we are eating the food and it is digested inside our body and it will be absorbed into our body through the small intestines. And we are taking the breath. We are taking oxygen respiration process, and inside the cells, this food and the oxygen both will be reacted. The oxidation takes place. That means the burning takes place, and there the energy will be released. That energy is utilized for our body needs, and heat is released, that is utilized for the maintenance of our body temperature. At the same time, carbon dioxide also will be released. That carbon dioxide we are exhaling outside. In the cellular respiration process, carbon dioxide is released. This is the reaction that is taking place in the cellular respiration of our body. So the carbon materials, nothing but carbohydrates, are utilizing or combining with the oxygen, yes, which is taken up by the respiration process. Yes, in the inhalation process we have taken this oxygen, and this is combining with the carbon materials, and it is producing energy. This energy is utilized for our body needs. Yes, and the byproduct and the waste material which is not needed for our body, that will be eliminated, that will be removed from our body through the exhalation process. And next, when oxygen and hydrogen are combining together, yes, it is very highly energetic process, highly energy releasing process. Yes, so when the hydrogen and oxygen combined, yes, high amount of energy will be released. The more amount of energy will be released, at the same time water will be formed. Yes, so this is also an energy releasing process. Yes, let us write these two equations as one equation. Yes, carbon plus oxygen plus hydrogen giving carbon dioxide, water and energy. This is the equation when we write these two in a single form. The oxygen is combined with the carbon and the oxygen is combined with the hydrogen. Yes, and it is forming carbon dioxide and water. So when the oxygen is combining with carbon and forming carbon dioxide, and oxygen is combining with hydrogen and forming water, in these two reactions energy is released. In these two reactions energy is released. Yes, then what about the reverse process? What about the reverse process for this reaction? Yes, so if the reaction takes place in this manner, yes, these are what the starting materials for photosynthesis. In the respiration process, energy is released. Energy is released in the respiration process. And what about the formation of oxygen? Yes, in the utilization of oxygen, energy is released. In the utilization of oxygen, energy is released. Then what about the reaction in which the oxygen is formed? Yes, so the energy should be utilized in the formation of oxygen, right? Yes, the energy should be utilized in the formation of oxygen. So here these two are the starting materials for photosynthesis. Yes, so in the photosynthesis, what will be happen here? Oxygen is released. Yes, so in the oxygen absorbing process, in the oxygen utilization process, energy is released. Yes, in the oxygen released process, the energy is utilized or something. So here, what about the reverse process? Yes, what is the reverse process here? Yes, in this process, does the energy release or not? Does the energy absorb or not? Yes, if in the process energy is released, in this process, the reverse process, energy will be absorbed or not. Yes, so here also the energy is needed. Okay, so for the breakdown of, for the formation of these, in the formation of these molecules, energy is released. And in the breakdown of these molecules, energy should be absorbed, right? Yes, so in the formation of these two molecules, from these, the energy is released. Yes, in the breakdown of these two molecules, that means from these two, the bonds will be broken in this, and in this process, the energy should be absorbed. Yes, so for the breaking of bonds between them, and in the conversion of these two molecules into these molecules, from where the plants are getting energy. Yes, the plants are forming energy, right? Plants are preparing the food materials. Yes, for the formation of energy, from where they are getting energy. Yes, so here the energy required for the breakdown, for the breaking of the bonds between these two molecules is sunlight. Sunlight is used as energy. So photosynthesis is an endothermic process. Yes, we have already discussed that the reactions in which the energy is released, those are exothermic processes, and the processes and the reactions in which the energy is absorbed, those are endothermic process or endothermic reaction. So photosynthesis is an endothermic reaction. Photosynthesis is an endothermic reaction, and that requires light, that requires energy, the energy that they are getting from sunlight, right? In support to the previous confirmation that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis, that we have confirmed in the equation that we have discussed just now. Yes, for the support of that equation, John Ingenhouse in 1779, he performed an activity by taking hydrilla plants. He performed an experiment to prove that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, so in that he observed that when the total experimentation was placed in sunlight, he observed from the hydrilla plants the small colorless gas bubbles were released, but when it was placed in a dark place, yes, there were no release of the gas bubbles from the hydrilla plant. From the hydrilla experiment, John Ingenhouse confirmed that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, next, Engelmann. Engelmann is another scientist in the early 20th century. He did an activity with algal strands. So some strands of algae. Just let us take one strand of algae. Then he exposed the different colored light, the different colors of light onto the algae, the strand of algae, Vibgea. It is totally sunlight. sunlight, we already know that sunlight is not a single color. Yes, sunlight is the white white light is the combination of all 7 colors. Those are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Yes, so he exposed this algal strand to the VIBGYOR for the different types of colors containing light. Yes, then why did he performed this activity? Yes, he wanted to know that the light, which part of the light is necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, light also contains different types of parts, different types of colors, and which color of the light is necessary for photosynthesis, whether all the plants are green in color, whether the green light is necessary for photosynthesis, or which light they absorb, which light they need more. Yes, so that he wanted to clarify, that he wanted to know. So that is why he has taken an algal strand. Algae is nothing but it's a photosynthetic one. It performs photosynthesis. Yes, so here he has taken the algal strand and he exposed this algal strand to different colors, 7 colors of the white light, Then he allowed it for some time. Then after that he introduced oxygen sensitive bacteria. Oxygen sensitive bacteria, which are nothing but the bacteria which use the oxygen, which are sensitive to oxygen. That means they'll be crowded towards oxygen, they go towards oxygen, they need oxygen, that means they go towards the oxygen. Yes, so here when he exposed oxygen sensitive bacteria to this algal strand, so all these oxygen sensitive bacteria, they are gathered near the blue colored light, they all gathered near blue colored light as well as near red colored light. That means with this we can confirm that here the photosynthesis rate is more. The rate of photosynthesis is more near blue colored light and near red colored light. That is why the production of oxygen is more. That is why the oxygen sensitive bacteria are gathered more here, and here also at red light also this oxygen sensitive bacteria are gathered. That means here also the rate of photosynthesis is more, and the production of oxygen also more. That is why the oxygen sensitive bacteria are gathered here. That means from this, what we can confirm from this Engelmann's experiment, what we can conclude is, so from the white light, plants require, the photosynthetic organisms require blue color light and red colored light. Yes, so blue colored and red color of the white light is necessary for the photosynthesis. The plants absorb blue colored light and red colored light, but not green colored light. Green color cannot be absorbed by the plants. Yes, green color is reflected completely from the plant. Yes, that is why the plants are in green color. So plants require sunlight for photosynthesis. Yes, from the hydrilla experiment it is proved, and the plants require blue colored light and red colored light for the photosynthesis. Let us perform hydrilla experiment. It was performed by Jan Ingenhousz, yes, to prove that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. So let us do the activity, hydrilla experiment. So with this activity we can confirm that the sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis, as well as we can confirm that oxygen is released in photosynthesis in presence of sunlight. Yes, so what is the aim for this activity? Sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. To prove sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis, at the same time it can be used to prove that oxygen is produced in photosynthesis in presence of sunlight. Right? So next, what are the materials that we require? We require a large beaker, a transparent funnel with a short stem. Next, water, incense stick, a glowing incense stick, hydrilla plant or Elodia plants or Chara plants. So these are all photosynthetic plants. Photosynthetic plants, which are small plants that can produce their food by photosynthesis. Okay, Hydrilla or Elodia or Chara plants. So whatever the plant we can take to perform this activity. Then procedure. Okay, for this, what is the procedure that we have to follow? So let us take first a beaker. Let us take a beaker and fill it with water. Let us take a beaker and fill it with water. Then take a funnel. Then take a funnel and take some Chara plants or Hydrilla plants. Hydrilla, the pieces of plant. Yes. So then place the Hydrilla plants in the funnel. Place the Hydrilla plants in the funnel and invert the funnel into the beaker. Invert the funnel into the beaker and take a test tube. Take a test tube and fill it with water. Fill it with water completely up to the brim of the test tube. We have to fill the water and we ensure that there is no water bubble inside the test tube. And take this test tube and by holding with it the thumb, by holding this test tube with the thumb, then let us invert the test tube onto the stem of the funnel and make sure that there is no air bubble present inside the test tube, right? And like this. So like this experimentation, the two sets of this we have to make, and one should be placed in sunlight and one should be placed in dark place. One should be placed in open place, that means in sunlight, and one should be placed in dark room. Yes, and let us observe them for 2 to 3 hours. So after 2 to 3 hours, and if we observe setup which is placed in dark room, we cannot see that air bubbles or gas bubbles at the surface of Chara plants or surface of the Hydrilla plants, and we cannot observe any type of gas bubbles at the end of the test tube. Yes, and we cannot observe any type of gas bubbles at inside the funnel in the setup which is placed inside the dark room. Yes, and let us observe the same setup which is placed in sunlight. Yes, in that we can observe that, yes, at the top of the Hydrilla plant, at the top of the Chara plant, and inside the funnel we can observe the gas bubbles, colorless gas bubbles we can observe. Yes, and those bubbles will reach the end of the test tube. Those bubbles will reach the end of the test tube and they will be collected at the end of the test tube, and the water level inside the test tube will be dropped. Yes, and that water level and that water place is occupied by the gas which is released from the Chara plants. That means this we can confirm that photosynthesis requires sunlight, because when it is placed in dark room there is no production of the gas. Yes, there is no production of the gas inside the plants. Yes, inside the funnel we cannot observe any type of bubbles, and when it is placed in sunlight we observe that the gas is produced, some gas is produced. Yes, that means with this we can conclude that the photosynthesis requires sunlight. Yes, in the sunlight only the photosynthesis will be carried out and the gas will be produced, right? And let us observe which type of gas is that. Yes, so first aim is clarified. That sunlight is required for photosynthesis. And next is the produced gas is oxygen or not? Is the produced gas is oxygen or not? That we have to know. Then how can we test the oxygen? Yes, oxygen has a property that, yes, so it will be burnt with flame. The oxygen gas will be burnt with a high flame, right? So that is the property of oxygen. Yes, let us test whether the gas produced is oxygen or not. Yes, and let us remove the test tube carefully by holding the mouth of the test tube with our thumb. Yes, if you take the test tube out and place a glowing incense stick near the mouth of the test tube, then the incense stick will be burnt with a flame. High flame. Yes, that confirms the produced gas is oxygen. So when it is placed in sunlight, when the experimental setup is placed in sunlight, the gas bubbles are produced. That means the photosynthesis has been taken place. That proves sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. And when we test this gas, when we test the gas with a burning or glowing incense stick, that glowing incense stick has burnt with a high flame. Yes, that provides or that proves that the produced gas is oxygen. So with this, we have come to a conclusion. We have come to a conclusion that sunlight is required for photosynthesis, as well as oxygen is produced in photosynthesis in presence of sunlight. Let us perform another activity to prove that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Black paper experiment. Black paper experiment. And what is the aim of this experiment? To prove sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, so for this, what are the materials we need? We need potted plant with broad leaves, a clip, black paper, and iodine solution to test a starch. Right, these are the materials we require. And next, procedure. So for that, we have to take a potted plant. Yes, and first it should be destarched. Yes, as usually we have done in the Mole's half-leaf experiment. In the same manner, we have to destarch the plants. For that, we should place the plant in dark room for 1 week. Yes, in that 1 week, the photosynthesis will not be carried out inside the plant, and the total starch present inside the plant will be consumed by the plant itself. Yes, so the starch is totally completed and the plant is destarched now. And let us take the plant and just select one leaf, one broad leaf, select one leaf and place the black paper on the leaf, and it should attach. Yes, it should be attached by using a clip. By using a clip, it should be fixed. The black paper should be fixed onto the leaf. Yes, so there the sunlight will not be fallen. Just the remaining parts of the plant, on the remaining parts of the plant, the sunlight will be fallen, but the part of the plant where the black paper is fixed, that is not exposed to sunlight. Yes, here it is important that the leaf should not be detached from the plant. Yes, the leaf should be present to the plant itself. Yes, then let us place this total the plant in sunlight. 2 to 3 years the plant should be placed in sunlight. Then after that, detach the leaf from the plant. Detach the leaf from the plant and remove the black paper, and it should be boiled in methylated spirit to get to become a pale white colored leaf. Yes, then it should be tested for starch by using iodine solution. Yes, in that we can confirm that, we can see that where the black paper is placed, that part of the leaf is not converted into bluish black color, and the part of the leaf where the black paper is not placed, which is exposed to sunlight, so there that part of the leaf is converted into bluish black color. That means the leaf which is exposed, the leaves which are exposed to sunlight, those produce starch. That means they perform photosynthesis, and the leaves or the parts of the leaves which are not exposed to the sunlight, they did not produce starch and they did not carry out the photosynthesis process. So with this we can confirm that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. So as of now, we have completed that the relation between water and photosynthesis, relation between air and photosynthesis, and in air which gas is required for photosynthesis, that is carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis, and next light is required for photosynthesis. At the same time, in photosynthesis oxygen will be produced. Oxygen is produced in photosynthesis. That we have all we have known up to now.